Good day, viewers, and welcome back to yet another episode of Generation C. My name is Rially Bakes, and I'll be the host for today's episode. So if you are still clueless about what Generation C is about, Generation C is a show that aims to equip and inform the youth with three segments, which is, of course, The Zone, Varsity Corner, as well as School Corner. And I mean, we all know that water is very important in all forms of life. I think no species that is alive can survive without it. So happy Mother Ocean's Day to everybody. Front page of The Zone today, we have an article on Michael Ndakapandi, who is a 23-year-old student at NUST studying towards a bachelor's degree in accounting and has been a self-taught graphic designer for about 2 years. He has decided to embark on this journey during COVID, which was in June 2020, and mentions that it has been an amazing experience gaining so much knowledge on how a business should operate. Let's look a bit at what he had to say.
It's your boy here, Michael Ndakapandi, owner of Surreal Art. I'm a 23-year-old accounting student at NUST. It's my third year. Besides my studies, I own a business called Surreal Art, and I have a few subsidiaries under it. We have Surreal Art Graphics, Surreal Art Printing, Surreal Art Body Painting, and of course, Surreal Art Wear. I consider myself to be a jack of all trades. Besides my business, I have also represented the country for karate. I've been doing karate for quite a few years now, which I feel, having done that for almost all my life, has helped me branch out into also giving fitness classes, fitness sessions, which is also an extra source of income for myself. If there's a piece of advice that I would give out there to anyone who's afraid to start something new, this is something that a lot of successful people actually emphasize on, which is fail, 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 and try as many times as you can until this business either gets you somewhere or it opens other doors for you. So never give up simply because your second or third or fourth time trying that same idea hasn't worked out. You never know where that idea could get you. You never know what people it could get you connected to. So always try, try, try.
On page 2, an article by Jemima Ndebele, the Katutura State Hospital Pediatric Ward opens its doors to volunteers to assist in postnatal maternal care. Also on page 2, for the photo of the week, we have a picture of the mascots at the NAPSO Securitas Private School Sports Week, which was a good enough spirit to go around. The week kicked off on Monday, which was the 2nd of May, and ended on Saturday, which was the 7th of May. Stay tuned for the video.
And as you can see, I am joined by a crowd of lovely people. Firstly, I have a new co-host. Yes, I won't be conducting these interviews, and I'm surrounded by the life of the Tume Privaat School of Werk. Vali de Walvis from Dolphin Private School, or also known as Law School Walvis Bay, and also NAPSO's main character mascot, Frostbite. How cool is that? There's a main character in the mascots. But let me hand over to my new co-host.
Good day, my name is Mia and I'm going to interview these people. So I think it's very cool that NAPSO's mascot will be here because he is the one that is going to, how can I say? That is going to cheer the people, that is going to cheer the rugby, the hockey, the netball and all the other sports that's going on here. So mainly I think that this ice bear is getting very hot here in Namibia, don't you think? That is also good. Now this is Vali the Walvis. He comes from Walvis Bay and I also think it's getting very hot in the summer. And I think this is going to be the best, how can I say, the hottest, how can I say, the hottest sport sport event, the hottest sport event.
Okay. On page 3, we have an article by Hancho Kapofi on NAM chefs, where they were preparing their teams for the Culinary Cup, which will be taking place in Dubai on the 30th of May. And on page 4, we have a feature by Irene Marie van der Walt, where UNESCO released a report on how education can help the learners to prevent natural, or it can help educate the learners on how to prevent natural disasters. And on page 5, our school focus is on Coastal High. Coastal High is one of the 14 Namibian schools offering a technical curriculum. The school was a technical school that belonged to the Herman Gemeiner SOS Fund for about 12 years and was returned to the government in later years. Also on page 5, an Afrikaans article by Janet Diergaard on the National Waltons Gerwel competition. Do make sure to read more about it to find out how you could enter that competition. On page 6, we had the Nedbank Rock and Rut cycling that took place at the farm Windhoek, IGJ. Is it the IGJ? I speak under correction. That took place this weekend. Let's stay tuned to see how that went.
Hi, my name is Daniel Hennis. Today I raced under 12 and came second. I am in Windhoek Afrikaans Private School, also known as VAP, and I started racing bicycles when I was about 6 years old. And what I enjoy most about it is there's so many friendly people in the community. And
I'm Lydia Thier. This is my son Marco Thier. He won the under 14 boys. They started cycling since they were very little. They are triplets. The girl also cycles, and she also won the under 14 girls. They enjoy their cycling and they love to ride. Every second they've got, they will ride the bicycles. They do all the events, like this one is Rock and Ride, the series that they do every year. It's a series of 4 or 5 races, 4 races, yeah, 4. That they do, and then, yeah.
On page 7, an article on the Malta's Club Namibia partnering with Germany. That's a bit interesting. On page 7 as well, this week our star teacher was Kusama Daniel, Noordgrens secondary teacher. He is a student teacher from Rundu, located in Rainbow Village. What an interesting addition we had for this week, I must say. But do remember to stay tuned for the very interesting interview that we're about to have with Maria Ngula, the founder of Rially Bakes. Welcome back to the School Corner, everybody, where we focus on all things school. So on page 5, we have our school focus, which is on the Coastal High School. So stay tuned for that video.
Now, for 12 years, the school was a technical school under the SOS Foundation, when it was called the Herman Gemeiner. Then 9 years after the SOS Foundation handed the school over to the government, the Namibian government, the Ministry of Education, it followed the mainstream, and then the technical subjects were abolished during that time. And now this is our 5th year that we have the technical subjects fully fledged curriculum back into our system. And Coastal High School is one of 14 schools in our country that is offering the technical curriculum. And we are fortunate that we could extend our curriculum with the basic pre-vocational stream as well, the 2-year course that I've previously mentioned. At the current moment, we have 32 teachers and then 840 learner total population. And that is what we are offering. I have to mention also that the Economic Board of Namibia managed to erect a greenhouse on our school premises, and that is why we are offering agriculture as a subject at Coastal High School as well.
Okay, this is our hospitality lab. And this is our bedroom. This is where our learners prepare or learn how to prepare bedrooms or the housekeeping department for the learners.
All right, we are here in the motor mechanics lab, our workshop, and you see the vehicle half cut through by our learners, and then it's standing on this lift. This is sponsorship from the Zonnenkinderen project, and they have sponsored this lift to Coastal High School at the tune of 70,000 Namibian dollars. The vehicle that you see here was donated by CNNC Rossing Uranium so that our learners could do some of their practicals on it. The greenhouse that we are standing at now was erected 5 years ago with the assistance of the Swakopmund municipality.
And on page 7, we do have our star teacher, which is Mr. Kusama Daniel, a teacher from Noordgrens Secondary School. Good day, everybody, and welcome back. And as we mentioned before, our guest is here today. We are joined by a lovely lady that is going to be telling us a bit more about her side hustle, you know, her business, which is of course Rially Bakes, you know, and she's going to give us a bit more insight on the ins and outs of Rially Bakes. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself.
Hi everybody, my name is Maria Ngula. I am a first-year student at the University of Namibia, and I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and I'm a first-year student.
Well, welcome, Maria.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So let's start at the beginning. When did you start with Rially Bakes?
Rially Bakes started in the beginning of 2020. It was just at the peak of lockdown when we were all home, doing yoga, doing exercising, baking, everything. My mom suggested that I start baking to actually make money because I've been baking ever since I was 10. So I saw the opportunity and decided to take it, and that's where Rially Bakes started.
When you say you started during lockdown.
Yeah.
So when you initially started baking, did you start with the idea of eventually growing into a business, or was it just because it was like a hobby?
I never thought of running a business just because I'm not really a people's person like that. So I never saw myself interacting with people on such a close level. And plus, I was only 10 years old when I started baking, so I never imagined that I would be a business owner one day, from a hobby, of course.
Okay, you mentioned that you are a first-year psychology student.
I
am. How do you balance having a side hustle as well as school? Like, how do you juggle the two?
Oh, it's quite difficult, especially now that it's May. Exams are starting soon, so this is really the peak time where everything is being cramped and we're working to the highest. So I don't really have time to take orders like that. I take orders when I can, but I don't push myself to maximum capacity because I still need space to accommodate my schoolwork, which is my #1 priority right now. Yeah.
I actually remembered now that like we spoke a bit about like Rially Bakes and like that you bake, but I think it would be important to give our viewers a bit more context in regards to what it is that they can find when they contact Rially Bakes. So what is it that you offer?
I offer a wide variety of sweet treats, from cakes, cupcakes, churros, brownies, donuts. I literally make anything sweet, and it's quite affordable too.
Ooh, I think that's definitely right down my alley because I am a sweet tooth.
Really?
So I'll definitely be checking her out. Tell me a bit about, as a student, starting a business isn't easy. I myself started like a side hustle of doing nails. So I know that like starting a side hustle while you have something else going on the side, which is like school, isn't easy. So tell us a bit about the challenges that you faced with starting your own business.
Oh, #1, definitely time management. Time management was definitely the worst for me, just because there were times where I can take up to 12 hours to make a birthday cake because I'm a perfectionist. So I always need my things to come out perfectly. And then I end up neglecting an assignment that was due. So that was one problem. Another problem for me was definitely also competition, because in the baking industry, there's many upcoming bakers now, and they're very, very talented, which, kudos to them also. But it's quite challenging because you need to step up your game to make sure that you're just a level above to keep your name there also, just so that you have that recognition also for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think so far I've done a good job getting my name out there, because sometimes I will go out and people are like, oh, you're Rially Bakes, and I'm like, no, my name is Maria, not Rially Bakes, but you can call me that. And that's when I came to realize that I did an amazing job getting myself there on my own too.
And if anybody watching wants to know where they can find you, please let them know, like, where can we find you on social media and so on.
My Instagram handle is Rially Bakes, and I'm situated in Windhoek.
Wow, well, thank you so much, Maria, for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
I think that it was a very informative and fruitful conversation, and I think you guys and myself will, in a few years' time, be expecting that franchise. I hope that we don't see Rially Bakes in Cape Town and we don't see her in Windhoek, period. Well, that is it from us today. Now we'll be moving on to the Varsity Corner. Welcome back to yet another segment of Varsity Chat Room. With all that's happening with schools in Namibia, let's see what the varsity students are up to. On page 8, an article on NANSO's 17th National Congress that recently kicked off. The President Hage Geingob officiated at the opening ceremony of the 17th National Students Congress. Let's hear what they had to say.
My name is Samit Popi. I'm the outgoing president of the Namibian National Students Organization. Today we held the official opening, officiated by His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, to open the Congress for the next 2 days. But so the Congress is it's a requirement of our Constitution that we host Congress every 2 years to, #1, account to the learners, the students of the Republic of Namibia, what we have done as the outgoing National Staff Committee, but also to receive reports from the regions and also debate and discuss issues of national concern as far as education is, as far as our in the educational fraternity. So what is happening today is that we had the official opening. We are going to have later elections to elect a new leadership that will then be in charge of the affairs of the organization for the next 2 years. And the delegates that we have here, we've got 16 delegates from each region who are here to represent other students and learners across the country, and they are all congregated here at the Windhoek High School. And these are the learners and students who will be electing the new leadership, and this leadership will then be charged with the affairs of the organization. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Esther. I'm representing, I am the former president of NANSO. Ideally, the focus is more on bringing on board fresher blood bringing on board individuals that have passion for student activism, that have a desire to continue championing and advocating for access to education, as we rightfully know that NASA has a very famous resolution 16 which amplifies the call towards access to education. But it's just not any education, it should be quality education that we adequately advocate for.
Good afternoon, my name is Luciano Kambala and I'm the Secretary for Finance and Economics for the Namibia National Students Organization, NANSO. The 17th Congress is called by the General Students' Council, which is the second highest decision-making body for NANSO. We have to go through a rigorous restructuring process before we hold Congress, where we try and scout for new leadership to renew the mandate of the organization. And that starts from a grassroots level where we establish new branches, we have regional conferences that lead up to the National Students' Congress where we elect national leadership. But we are stronger today more than ever. We have really strengthened the institution as the current leadership, and we've done a lot of work to make sure that NANSO lives beyond our time. We've acquired vehicles, we're closer to getting an office than we were then. Our business arm is stronger now than it has ever been. And I think having the president come even to officiate, His Excellency Dr. Gengo, who officiated our Congress, is a demonstration really that we have shown to government that we are capable and competent enough to lead in our space, and they are able to support the work we are doing because it's impactful and it's changing. We are able to change policy in the right direction.
Hi everyone, my name is Josephine Nkonga and I am the additional member for the Oceania region, NANSO, and I'm really excited to be here today and honored to be here for the 17th Congress, because today I've realized that we have so much potential to work together to bring about this change.
Also on page 8, the Varsity Corner, this week we focus on Patricia Gatsia, a 21-year-old student from the coastal city of Walvis Bay. She's currently a second-year journalism and media technology student at the Namibian University of Science and Technology. So let's have a look at what she had to say.
Hi, my name is Patricia Gatsia. I'm a 21-year-old student at NAST and I'm currently studying journalism and media technology. I was born and raised in the coastal city of Walvis Bay. So funny story how I got here. I took my gap year in 2019, got a job in 2020, and in the very beginning of 2020, an old primary school friend of mine convinced me to apply to UNAM for media studies at the last minute. So I went for late registration. Hectic day. For that past 3 days, I got lost in every corner of UNAM. But seeing as it was COVID, it was kind of online, so I didn't quite feel the vibe of having class online and just submitting assignments the whole day. So in 2021, I re-applied for journalism at NAST and I got in. So it's been an exceptional experience. I've enjoyed every moment. It did have its challenges, but if you want to know more about my challenges, I guess you have to go read the article.
Well, viewers, sadly, we have come to an end of yet another fire juicy episode of Generation C. But you know, that only means that you have to join us again next week, same time, same place. Bye.